We heard sirens and lots of gunfire.
Police say a chase in central Kentucky ended with them shooting and killing the suspect. Tonight, we've learned more about the investigation into what led to it.
Family members of a Lee County murder victim say they'll be fighting for justice in the case, what they're saying about him.
Some frightening moments tonight for people at a Lexington apartment building, why they were forced out of their homes.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Parts of southeastern Kentucky picked up some rain today, while most of us saw sunny skies for much of the day.
But you will soon notice more humid air moving in, and you guessed it, more rain. We begin tonight with meteorologist Jim Caldwell and your no-wait weather forecast. Jim?
And it is coming yet again, guys. As we get into the day tomorrow, we'll be tracking some more widespread showers and thunderstorms. Not only for our friends in southeastern Kentucky, which had 2 days worth, we get some around here as well into the Lexington and surrounding areas. 78 right now here, 75 into Mount Sterling. A little cooler in parts of eastern Kentucky tonight because they had rain and they never got to warm up to their full potential, so they had easier to tumble back down the old thermometer. Let's put it into motion, and you're not going to find much happening out there anywhere across central or eastern Kentucky tonight. It looks like a couple of rogue showers have decided to go up, but other than that, it is pretty calm. So we look at some of our headlines. The tropical moisture, it really is already showing up around here. That means very humid conditions, and more importantly, it means that it's going to feed thunderstorms, and they could be very heavy rain producing thunderstorms as we move forward. Now, the overall rainfall forecast can sometimes be underplayed with these systems. This is a forecast all the way out until 11 o'clock on Sunday night. But you see the general idea. There's a lot of water and a lot to come this week. We'll break it all down with the hour-by-hour run coming up.
Tonight, investigators have released some new details about a shooting involving state police. They say police shot and killed a man during a chase in Scott County.
It happened late this afternoon along Midway Road, not far from the Woodford County line. In the last hour, police identified the man as 34-year-old Juan Godines of South Carolina. Tonight, police told us why they were chasing the man. Kristen Kennedy has the latest in our top story at 11.
The chase that ended here Monday afternoon started Monday morning. Kentucky State Police Trooper Bernie Napier says overnight a husband held his wife against her will.
This morning the male subject dropped the female subject off at work, and that's when she reported the domestic violence from the night before.
They planned on charging him with domestic violence and unlawful imprisonment. They were prepared to arrest him when he picked her up from work, but that's when troopers say he saw them, took off, and left a lot of damage.
Multiple agencies had vehicle damage.
Trooper Napier says the man crashed his car on Midway Road, then took off running toward nearby Elkhorn Creek.
The dog started howling. About 15 minutes later, we heard sirens and lots of gunfire going on behind the house back here, back and forth gunfire.
Lisa Savage wasn't sure what was happening behind her property.
We were scared, yes. It's not uncommon. Occasionally we'll hear people hunting back there, but this sounded way more than just a hunter. It sounded back and forth and very close.
Neighbors told us shortly after they heard those gunshots, they watched a chopper land just beyond the tree line.
The creek's right down there, and my property goes to the middle of the creek line.
State police say they shot and killed the man. The Woodford County coroner says he died on the Woodford bank of the creek. In Scott County, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Well, police say the suspect, Juan Godines, was armed at the time. We do not know how his wife is doing tonight. Multiple agencies help with the chase, including the Scott County Sheriff's Office. Investigators have now identified some human remains found near a Clark County road last Friday. Tonight, state police said the remains were those of 38-year-old Robert Jones, a northern Kentucky man who disappeared July 3rd. The remains were found off Goshen Road near Winchester. Police say Jones and his girlfriend, Crystal Warner, were murdered. Her body has not been found. The couple was last seen alive in Washington County. State police later arrested Craig Pennington and charged him with the murders.
Tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what led to 2 murders in Lee County. 4 people now face charges in connection to these murders. Police found one victim's body Friday and the other on Saturday. A judge set a $1 million bond for each suspect. And tonight, family members of the man found dead Saturday are talking to us about him. Garrett Weimer has the story new at 11.
They called him Jim Bob. The past couple days haven't been easy for his family.
I hope the ones that did this to my cousin, they know that God knows what they've done. and God will get even.
Jim Bob's cousin asked that we not identify her because of her own ongoing legal issues. She says Jim Bob had his problems, but he didn't deserve to be murdered.
It's not worth having to hold on to memories.
As soon as she read online that a second body had been found in Lee County, she says she just had a feeling it was her cousin James Brown. It was. The jail says bonds for all 4 suspects have been set at $1 million. What's your reaction to that?
I can tell you right now, my cousin's getting ready to be put under the ground forever, while these pieces of, can I say it over there? Can I say it over the camera? These pieces of they're going to get out of jail. They're going to get to walk free. They're going to get to have Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays with their family.
Her concern now is that the suspects will post bond and be back on the streets. What do you want to see happen?
What I want to see happen, I can't see. I want them in the ground. I want them put where they just put my cousin. But by law, I can't get to do that. I want them life in prison, no parole, not getting to spend time with their family. See how they feel.
Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
And all 4 suspects are scheduled to be in court tomorrow morning. We have an update tonight on a murder trial that's now underway in Lexington. Court workers are telling us a jury has been seated for Paris Charles's trial, and opening statements were this afternoon. Testimony will begin tomorrow, and the trial is expected to last 2 weeks. Police charged Charles with murder for the 2014 death of his girlfriend, Goldia Massey. Police say that parts of Massey's body later washed up along the Kentucky River in Jessamine and Henry counties.
New tonight, a fire forced some people living in a Lexington apartment building out of their homes for part of the night. Firefighters say that fire started in the bedroom of an apartment at Augusta Arms on Augusta Court. That's in the Eastland area. Firefighters say they were able to keep the fire from spreading very far.
We got here quick. It was put out rather quickly. Luckily, it was confined to the one room.
Firefighters say a sprinkler system did cause some water damage elsewhere in the building, and they say the electricity had to be shut off to 2 apartments because of the fire. Firefighters say paramedics checked out 1 man at the scene for possible injuries, but he didn't have to go to the hospital. They're still trying to figure out what caused that fire. Family members of a boy who drowned in a pond at Lexington Cemetery say something needs to be done to keep people from falling into the water. Investigators say 11-year-old DeShannon Davis was fishing with friends last night when he fell into the pond. He is the 2nd person to die after falling into the pond in the last week. DeShannon's family says his mother had warned him not to go back to the pond after the first drowning. While there are no fishing signs at the pond, the boy's family wants more done to keep people away from the water.
I'm hoping to get with the cemetery people, and I actually want to put a fence around the lake to where kids can't go and fish in it, or if they can go and fish, they won't fall in the lake. The lake will be protected.
Lexington cemetery leaders didn't want to comment. Lexington police say they have talked with the cemetery about making repairs to a fence to make the pond more secure.
What police in Laurel County say began as a search for a missing person ended with an Ohio fugitive and 8 other people taken to jail. Police say Thomas Scott's family reported him missing. They say they then received a tip that he was at a home on Arthur Ridge Road in Laurel County. And they say they found out that Scott was actually a fugitive. When police showed up at the home, they say 8 people were denying knowing where Scott was, but they say they found him hiding in a bedroom. Police say they arrested him and charged the other 8 with hindering prosecution and alcohol intoxication. One of the people charged says she didn't do anything wrong.
My side is I saw Tommy's truck pull up. A guy and a woman was in it. I did not see Tommy. And we told the officer, go ahead, look in Tommy's home. Well, he came out with Tommy, and when they said, yeah, he's got Tommy, we're like, we didn't know.
Police say Scott was wanted in Ohio for child neglect.
New tonight, the state's Public Service Commission has approved a compliance plan for Kentucky utilities to close and cap coal ash ponds. The ash comes from power plants. Kentucky utilities will spend $675 million to meet new federal environmental requirements for coal ash ponds at 5 sites. The PSC says KU will raise rates as part of its plan. The rate hikes will peak in 2022.
After a challenging week, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump hoping his economic announcement today would help his campaign, what he's proposed, and the reaction in 9 minutes.
And then how vandals have damaged a piece of history at a well-known park in southeastern Kentucky.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
Pretty quiet out there tonight, other than the fact that the humidity is starting to tick up, and that is something that is going to continue to be the case here the next several days. It's just going to get even worse. That'll be the problem. Tonight, though, on our Defender Radar Network, we are in pretty good shape. No major showers or thunder showers showing up anywhere. But once they get going this week, they will have all kinds of potential thanks to this disturbance that's making its way along the Gulf Coast, feeding in the moisture, and it'll be feeding in plenty over the next several days here, giving us better chances for showers, thunderstorms, and just generally humid air hanging out with us. Just a big plume of moisture, tropical moisture that will be on the move here over the next several days. So as that system continues to work its way back toward the west and some other things come together in the atmosphere and opens up the floodgates for us as far as moisture is concerned. The tropical moisture is deposited right here into Kentucky. As the moisture increases, we're talking about a true tropical-like feel that will return to the air. Now, we've seen this many times here, but it's going to hang around for a few days this go around. And when you get that amount of moisture in the air, any thunderstorm that goes up could certainly tap into just an extra supply of rain, and that means we could be dealing with heavy rain potential. Now, here's what we've got. We'll start the clock in the morning, tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock. When you have this type of humid air, not all just truly humid air, but when you get this level of humidity going, it means that when we get some thunderstorms going, you run into some heavy rain potential. And it also means that we have that daily storm threat. This is an overall rainfall forecast from right now all the way through Sunday at 11 o'clock. And when you get in this type of atmosphere, models have a tendency to underplay some of the rainfall situations. Likely they get even higher than this. You could get this in one setting too. Keep that in mind. We had a thunderstorm today down across parts of Knox and into Bell County that produced 3 inches of rain. It also means that in between thunderstorms, if you're just out during the early parts of the day before rain starts to settle in, it is going to feel absolutely terrible. The muggy conditions for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, top of the charts here with a truly tropical air mass right here across Kentucky. Hour by hour we go through the overnight and into the day tomorrow. Here comes the shower and thunderstorm activity once we cross over into the afternoon and into the evening hours. Here it comes, starting to really get going across most of Kentucky. Model kind of lost some of its data there for a second. It just came in a little while ago. Anyway, but now you see it fills in a little bit more again as we go into your Wednesday, and we'll have showers and thunderstorms around here as well into Thursday. So a very rainy and humid week here as we move forward. Off to the 7-day, where the data is always there for me, and you see the showers and thunderstorms just sticking around from one end of the 7-day to the other. With daytime highs, we're going to be in the upper 80s to around 90 degrees in many cases out there. You factor in the humidity because it's going to be off the charts, and in between the thunderstorms, and we can have heat index values close to 100. I mean, it's going to be easy to get there, but then the rain comes and plays a factor and knocks it back down again.
You and Chris and the rest of our meteorologists have been consistent for 2 or 3 months now. Really, every week.
And we've been right.
Oh, my goodness.
It's true.
So you let him right into it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you let him right there. A routine hearing for a Kentucky burglary suspect quickly became emotional. A judge's kind gesture for that suspect in 8 minutes.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Donald Trump unveiled his plan for the nation's economy today in an effort to get his campaign back on track after a rough week.
It had some of the specifics his supporters and critics have been asking for, and Hillary Clinton was quick to respond. Craig Boswell has the latest from the campaign trail.
Donald Trump read off the teleprompter and stayed on message as he promised to make America grow again.
These reforms will offer the biggest tax revolution since the Reagan tax reform.
Trump scrapped his original tax plan and unveiled a less expensive one drafted by House Republicans with income tax brackets of 12, 25, and 33%. The businessman also called for full deductions of child care expenses.
No one will gain more from these proposals than low and middle income Americans.
His speech to the Detroit Economic Club was punctuated 14 times by protesters. Trump is looking for a much-needed surge of support following today's address. According to a new Monmouth University poll, Hillary Clinton has taken a double-digit lead over the businessman. Clinton toured a brewery in Florida Monday and pledged to help small businesses grow. The former Secretary of State called Trump's economic plan a repackaging of trickle-down economics.
I intend to make the wealthy pay their fair share to build this economy.
She also mocked Trump's economic team, made up of 13 white men.
He's got 6 men named Steve.
Clinton will offer her vision for the nation's economy in a speech in Detroit on Thursday. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
50 former national security officials signed an open letter opposing Donald Trump, claiming he would make the most reckless president in American history. Trump responded by saying those officials are to blame for the rise of ISIS. We have some new information tonight about the death of a child at a Kansas water park. Police now saying the 10-year-old boy died of a neck injury he suffered while riding the world's tallest water slide. They say he was one of 3 passengers riding in a boat on the slide yesterday, but investigators say they're still trying to figure out what led to this tragic accident.
New tonight, leaders of Cumberland Gap National Park say vandals have damaged a piece of history there. Park leaders say the vandals carved into a Civil War cannon that's on display. They say they spent about $20,000 restoring the cannon, and they think it could cost thousands of dollars to repair the damage.
And that's an actual artillery piece. It's a part of actual history, and it's there to be enjoyed. But I got really upset and angry to see it defaced that bad.
Park leaders say they will press charges against the vandals if they're caught. Once it's ready to be on display again, they say the cannon will be placed near the park headquarters.
New tonight, a Jefferson County judge allowed a burglary suspect to see his newborn son for the first time during a hearing. James Roeder and his wife Ashley are both co-defendants in a burglary case. Judge Amber Wolf had ordered them not to have contact with each other. And during that time, Ashley gave birth to a baby boy. On Friday, both James and Ashley had hearings in their case, and in between the 2 hearings, the judge made an exception to her order and allowed James to see his 1-month-old baby.
She called my attorney up to the bench and whispered something to him, and he come to me and said, "Would you have any objections to James meeting his son?" And I said, "Absolutely not."
Making a temporary exception right in front of me on the record so that you can meet this baby. This is your son.
A lot of compassion. Judge Wolf later said that when she heard James had not seen his son, she saw an opportunity to make that happen, and she didn't want to pass on it.
Let's hope that that's life-changing for those folks, potentially.
You never know.
Well, Brian, Enos Cantor dealing with a heartbreaking situation.
Yeah, Enos going through a family situation, which is really hard to believe, and you're right, extremely heartbreaking. Wait till you hear this. And with the departure today of Reggie Ment from the UK football team, it's a next man up situation. Sports is next. The major news today from the UK football camp is the departure of defensive tackle Reggie Ment. The junior has left the team for personal reasons. Mark Stoops saying this morning Ment would not be with the Wildcats for a while as he handles a personal issue. But Stoops didn't elaborate any further. Stoops did say he probably does not anticipate Ment to be with the team at any point this season. The UK D-line was already an area of concern, and now it's lost its most experienced player.
Again, I ask you to just leave that lie and respect him, but it is a blow to us and our depth on the D-line, but other guys will step up, and we'll continue to do that.
So with the absence of Ment up front, that old football cliche of the next man up mentality comes into play for the Cats. Since Stoops and company has been at UK, the staff has produced 3 new starters on the front line every year. The amount is rather eye-opening.
You know, because I first got here, Dante Rump, PC Cobble, and Tristan were starting. Then the next year we had Bud and Z and Mike Douglas and Melvin at the nose. And then the next year, when we lose Z and Mike Douglas, and then we had Farrington and Corey. So, you know, it's the next man. That's what I mean by next man up.
Mark Stoops also announcing today this morning, tight end Darrell Long will be transferring in an attempt to get more playing time. The 6'4", 245-pounder out of Westerville, Ohio, was 3rd on the depth chart. It was media day in Richmond for the EKU Colonels and new head coach Mark Elder. The Colonels are 4 practices into their preseason camp. Elder brings a fast-paced style of offense to EKU, but he says not to confuse that with being a finesse team. Quarterback Benny Coney likes the change in style.
Oh, it's way different. You got a lot more vertical threats. It's more faster, but it's like any other offense, but you got your little tweaks here and there.
We are going to be a tough football team. We're going to be tough. And yes, we're going to play fast, and we're going to do it from offensively a shotgun, no-huddle approach. We're going to play with tremendous effort, and we're going to play excited with our hair on fire.
Here is a strange situation. Enes Kanter's political views may have caused him to miss a spot on the Turkish national team, and now it's reported it has also cost him his family. The former Kentucky Wildcat has been outspoken in his support for Islamic scholar Fethullah Gulen, who's been blamed for the attempted coup in Turkey last month. On Sunday, Enes's father wrote a letter disowning his son and apologizing to the Turkish government. Enes's dad said that he has not communicated with him since 2015 and regrets taking him to the United States, where his basketball talent was discovered. That situation is tough. After a sluggish start, the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team crushed Venezuela 113-69 today. Paul George leading the way with 20 points for the Americans. DeMarcus Cousins, a pedestrian 6 points and 5 rebounds. Former Campbellsville University All-American Nestor Colmenares with just 1 point for the Venezuelans in the losing effort. Current medal count through the first 3 days of competition. The United States holds a 6-medal lead on China. The U.S. with 5 gold, 7 silver, 7 bronze. The Americans and the Chinese lead the gold medal category. ESPN releasing the start times for the Big 12 SEC Challenge for the upcoming basketball season. Kentucky plays Kansas January 28th in Rupp Arena. That'll be a doozy. It's a 6 o'clock tip, and you can see it on ESPN. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT. Tonight's guests include John Oliver.
And our guest tonight, sitting in for Chris Bailey,
the one and only
Jim Caldwell.
Not quite as special as Chris Bailey, of course, but I'll gladly take a spot every once in a while. Anyway, showers, thunder, sucking up a little bit. Showers, thunderstorms likely, guys, next several days here. A lot of humidity will also be thrown into the mix, and that means that at any point with these thunderstorms, we could see some pretty impressive rainfall totals. We'll watch it very closely for you. And if it's not raining, it's going to be miserably humid, okay?
Are you worried we don't like you? That's why you're...
A little bit.
Okay. Well, you're okay with it.
You can stay tomorrow.